Sydney. Then that's what saying I'm John. Okay, ready? Hi, I'm Sydney, and this is John, and this is our van build. Welcome back, guys. Today we're going to be working on the framework, even though it's super windy, so we're going to do most of the stuff inside the van versus doing the windows, because we finally got the sealant and the primer. Instead of doing windows this weekend, because it's really windy and the weather's pretty bad, we're going to work on the inside of the van, which will be framework. Pretty excited about this part, because it's going to start finally looking a little bit more homey. It's still going to be pretty bare bones, but it'll start to look a little bit more like an actual home. Hopefully this week we can also do the bench work and benches for, we're gonna house our batteries and our water tanks and other bigger, bulkier items. We are opting to do a dinette system for right now. Pretty sure we won't change our mind on that one. We're planning on doing a dinette system since we both are going to be going to school full time. It seems like the best option for us, since it'll allow us to have a table, a desk in the center of a work, like a seating arrangement. So it'll compromise on storage space, which is kind of the downfall of the dinette system. But I think it'll be more in tune with what we want to be doing while we're on the road. But this week is going to be just doing the walls and the ceiling. We got the paneling for our ceiling, and we're doing like a ship island look on the walls. We got those pieces at Home Depot the other day. Super windy.
Enjoy the video, big dog.
Enjoy. When we were looking up ways to attach the framework to the walls and the ceiling of the van, it seemed a little structurally unstable to just screw anything into the metal of the van. So we chose to go with Rivet Nuts to put in the holes of the van like this for the framework, so that it's a little bit more stable than just drilling into the actual frame of the van and putting more holes in our van, or just trying to put screws and bolts into already pre-made holes. So the way the rivet nut works, the rivet tool causes this part of the rivet nut to collapse, crunch down, so that it stays in the hole. And then you can use any screw or bolt the size of the rivet nut to screw into it, and it provides more stability, which is what we want for the framework of the van, so that it doesn't wobble or fall or whatever. For these holes, we went with M6s, which are a metric size of rivet nuts. They are harder to find at Home Depot, so we just ordered them off of Amazon in a huge 150-piece bag, but they are M6s. It's the size of the majority of the pre-drilled holes in the van.
Like that one.
Like that one.
So it made it easier. We didn't have to put any new holes in our van. The holes were already in it. We found something that would fit inside of it.
After doing a lot of research and watching other YouTubers that are doing conversions on their vans, like Linnea and Akila, who is amazing, and you should watch her videos if you're looking for any sort of guidance.
Akila's her dog, by the way.
Her dog is Akila. You should watch her videos for any sort of guidance on how-tos as well.
I think she's a good starter, because she said she didn't have a lot of experience, and we clearly don't have a lot of experience.
Yeah, we don't have any experience, so watching her videos and kind of sharing in that learning process is really awesome. So check her out, I'll link her below. But she talks a lot about how she uses a rivet tool, which John will show you how to use.
No, you.
Okay.
You break it down.
All right. So you stick it in, and then
Squeeze.
you squeeze it.
Alright, and they pull it apart.
And I pull it apart.
And then twist the thing in the middle to the right to tighten it back in. And do it again. Yep.
That's it?
Yep, twist it one more time. You do it all the way, just do it till you think you can.
So the reason why John told me to do it 3 times is because we learned our lesson from the first several ones we did. Wow, this takes forever to come out of here.
Yeah, it's like you've never done it before.
Hey, I haven't. You did the first like 7. 8? How many did we do? We did a lot.
30.
30.
Get a little cigarette.
So John and I learned that you can't just do it once, because we had to go back through and do it several more times because the Rivet Nuts they were kind of wiggly, and so to make sure they were tight and flush with the wall, you had to do it a few times. But yeah, couldn't do the upper ones because I don't have as much arm strength as John, so he did a lot of the upper ones. So that was a recommendation from Linnea, and it's been a lifesaver. And her pup, and it's been a lifesaver, and hopefully it'll help make everything more sturdy when we actually put up the framework. But that's what we're gonna be doing for a little bit. Super long and boring, tedious stuff, but all the Rivet Nuts are in, and ready to start framework.
So, I don't know, we're gonna make a business decision. I haven't decided yet if we're gonna use 1x3s for framework or if we're gonna just buy a 3/4 inch piece of plywood and then cut it down in strips that we've seen in some videos. I don't think it's a terrible idea. But either way, we're not doing any kind of paneling until we put in our cabinets, which we're going to build our cabinets ourselves, because stuff like this would just be a problem. But you build the framework for your cabinet, you hide stuff like this. Stuff like this would be impossible to hide, but with our cabinets, it's not something I have to worry about. We've already installed and pre-put in all of our rivets for the top part. So honestly, if we get our blanks today, we can start the top part. And then we'll go from there with the paneling, but I at least need to get this wall up with the sheet over it, and this wall up with the sheet over it, so we can start boxing over the real wells, and then we can finally install our water tanks and our electrical system. Let's go spend more money.
Since the wind is so bad today, and we don't really need to be in the van to do the framework, we moved ourselves into the garage, and we're working on figuring out what the framing is going to be. So we've been really busy this week. This week was John's last official week in the Air Force before his terminal leave. He is officially done and free. So now he has a lot more time to work on the van, which is amazing. We celebrated a little bit of his terminal leave starting, and yeah, it's been really nice. He's been really excited. It's been super stressful though. So what they don't tell you about out processing from the Air Force is it's a lot of work. There are checklists upon checklists upon checklists, and it's very time consuming and very stressful calling all these agencies, trying to get everything squared away before you get out. John just went through his out processing, and I know that my life is going to be as stressful as his life has been over the last few weeks in the coming months, when I start to out process, when I start to go to these appointments, when that's my main focus, is getting everything squared away so that when I leave the military, I'm set for success. So that was John's last week. So every night he didn't really want to come home and do anything van work wise, and I don't blame him. And same, I've been super busy at work. It's not ideal to come home and work on the van. I have about 6 weeks left before my terminal leave starts, and we have a lot to do in that 6 weeks. Our timeline is very small. We want to finish the van, we want to sell the house and everything we own. We're trying to be out of the house by the 1st of August, or like beginning of August, and it's so stressful. To say I wasn't terrified would be a lie. It's scary. It's a lot. I have never had to move while being in the military. This was my first duty station. I've been here for 5 years. I've been lucky to not have to move to a different place. In the military, you move around so often that we really never have roots places, which makes it ideal for transitioning to van life because we're already used to being kind of nomadic. So it's not that big of a transition. However, I'm gonna be living in a small, confined space full time, all the time, and that's scary. We haven't gotten a lot done, but I felt this video should be more focused on the military aspect and the transitioning aspect and kind of those challenges for us specifically, since this channel is not just about our van builds, but also about what it's like transitioning out of the military, and for us, the unique situation that we aren't going into the real world and working full time and going to school full time. We're doing something that's really unique to transitioning service members, which is living in a van and doing some dope stuff.
It's gonna be a cute video.
So I hope you enjoy listening to us talk about that. Hello, friend.
Wait, my legs can't be in the shot?
I was just came out and you distracted me.
This is gonna be cute clips you're gonna put in there, okay? What up, dog? Gosh darn hot out here, folks. Me? Oh shit.
As you can see, we've got a lot of our little framework pieces up. Not on this side yet, but we've got it up on this side, and we've been working on the benches. We ran into a little bit of a design issue, but we're coming back from it, and we should be able to get those done hopefully this week / this weekend. So this was our original design for the benches. They were going to be really tall to have a lot more storage in this area. Here are our batteries and a little bit of our electrical setup, and this is what it was going to look like on the inside. We used 2x2s to kind of build this little box. All in all, that design didn't work. The reason this design didn't work is we couldn't get it even on both sides or level, and we tried sanding it to make it as level as possible, but just because there's so many different pieces, it was really difficult to make it straight across the board. So we're gonna kind of scrap it and start over and go from there. So it's kind of frustrating because put all the effort into making the boxes and then they didn't turn out the way we wanted to. So now we're back to the drawing board. Which is fine, you learn as you go. It's our first time building the van, so we're going to make mistakes, but I don't know. So we're building the framework straight into the van versus outside the van and then trying to put it in. That way it's lined up and even with the plane of the van versus level with the outside world and not level with the inside of the van. But yeah, that's what we're doing.
Hey, tape measure.
Tape measure. So most of our framework pieces, aside from this wall, are up. As you can see, we got them all bolted in, and the wiring for that was already built in the van is gonna stay on this side. We're just gonna kind of build around it and push it as flush to the wall as possible. But behind the driver's seat is where we're gonna put the shower, and we've been working on the framework for that. And then this side, we've got the base of the framework, and then we're gonna leave this kind of open for now. John has an idea of how he wants to do the middle section of this wall. We're not gonna do it the same as this side. He wants to do this a little bit differently, so we might end up taking this part apart when we build the benches, but he's got an idea for that, so we'll come back to that in probably a later video. But yeah, but I'm pretty proud of what we did. It was tedious to say the least. All in all, not too difficult. It's just a little time consuming. It's very, very hot this week. It's supposed to hit 109 on Tuesday.
It's gosh darn hot out here, folks.
We're dying here. But so we've got most of our framework done. This video has been pretty much just our challenges and setbacks with building the framework for the walls and for the benches, and we're still kind of at a stopping point with the benches for the time being. I think right now we're going to work more on the insulation and kind of the backbone of the framework, and then come back to framework in the next video. But for now, that's what this whole video was just us trying to figure out framework. You kind of saw our mistakes and some of the challenges that we've faced over the last few weeks, and it's been a little frustrating, but I think we've got a good point now that we're gonna pick back up and start moving forward a little bit faster. But thanks for watching. I know it wasn't a whole lot of progress, but kind of the reality of what it's like converting a van for the first time while going to work full-time. So anyway, thanks for watching, and stay tuned for the next video. We're gonna be making a lot more progress coming up soon, so stay tuned.